The last century has brought an unprecedented shift in international immigration policy, with much of the developed world abandoning protectionist doctrines in light of political, social, and economic opportunities that are provided by globalization. Long gone are the borders of the Berlin Wall, East versus West blocks, and general isolationist sentiments which characterized the mid-20th century. In its place, grand international political and economic unions have risen, such as the European Union, the UN, and an abundance of other transnational organisations. Importantly, this shift towards open borders has not been a linear transition. Global immigration policy is delicately balanced between the different and often conflicting socio-economic needs of states at the individual level. Migration has significant economic implications for countries in the 21st century. At the most fundamental scale, migration drives economic outcomes by altering the population structure within the host country's economy. In turn, this affects the host country's working age population, the dependency ratio, the participation rate, and the productivity per worker. As a result, more goods and services must be produced to support a growing population. At the same time, the volume of production in the domestic economy will increase due to the increased supply of workers within that economy. These are extremely important considerations, as they are pertinent factors to the direction of gross domestic product, the unemployment rate, and the rate of inflation within a country or region. Therefore, driving the standard of living and the quality of life for all individuals within the host country. In today's integrated society, a country's political system can significantly affect the flows of migration to and from a country. Political systems may incorporate policies constructed by the government that discriminate against its citizens or citizens from other countries. Many migrants are driven to migrate from fear of being persecuted due to their beliefs or ideas, while many seek to migrate due to a lack of access to resources or infrastructure within their country. Despite the fact that policies can bring negative changes to migration, there is evidence that it can also encourage a natural population increase. A country's population growth rate can be fueled with the assistance of effective government policy. These key pieces of legislation have significant ramifications for permanent migrants, temporary migrants, asylum seekers, and refugees. Government policy will continue to affect migration trends in all countries and regions across the globe. There are many people in countries across the world that feel that migrants are taking over and invading their country. The perception that migrants are a threat to their national identity is one that is commonly found in countries all over the globe. National identity is thought of as a sense of togetherness within a particular country, or how well people live in cohesion through their nation's culture, values, and traditions. It is these cultural values and traditions that many think are under attack with the growing trend of migration. But while many people hold these fears, much research shows that they have often gone unfounded. Many academics see dual citizenship and permanent migration as a new way forward for many countries. Dual citizenship and notions of a borderless world actually promote the idea that one day no one will ever be foreign to anywhere and that we can all be more equal. Speaking culturally and in terms of national identity, it is evident that migration does affect a country. But what some view as a negative impact on their country's identity can actually be seen as a way to create more equality around the world. Dual citizenship through migration is not an overt threat to a nation's identity. We can actually use its effect on a country to our advantage and move forward as one global society. Forced migration occurs when people move away from their home origin to different areas within the country or abroad because of a real or perceived threat to life and well-being. There are two main causes of forced migration. Conflict-induced displacement occurs when the government cannot or will not protect their own citizens due to armed conflict or religious beliefs. An example of this can be seen in the Syrian civil war, where the government has refused to protect their own citizens. Disaster-induced displacement occurs when people are forced from their homes due to natural or man-made disasters. An example of this can be seen in homes being burnt down by bushfires. The impacts of forced migration can be devastating. People can experience social isolation and difficulty adapting into a new culture. Some forced migrants have trouble not letting go of their beliefs and values, which may bring resentment from the local people as they have failed to adapt to the local culture. So, what does migration mean for you?